Hello everyone, this is Food is a Conversation Alumni Edition, session 44. Sorry about doing this a bit later today, I hope no one minds, but we have a very busy schedule these days, and today is also, so our team is very busy in Bologna, I heard. So while I'm waiting for my guest today to join, what are these conversations about? Hi, Jose.
Hello. Hello,
I
hello.
think we have a bit of an echo. No, not anymore. All good, all good. It was only for the connection time. All right, so I just quickly do the intro and then we can go on with the questions. So these conversations happen twice a week since this year, April, to introduce the ecosystem members of the Future Food Institute who attended any of the educational programs, let them be a summer school or the Food Innovation Master Program, or now the boot camps what we organize with FAO. And sometimes we have exceptional guests who are not necessarily alumni of the program, but they attended many educational programs because they were part of the team. So if you have missed the previous sessions, they are all available on our IGTV and our YouTube channel. So listen to these stories because they explain which program they attended, what is their story, what do they do now, and how is their local food system, and most importantly, how do they imagine their food future. So now, without any further ado, please feel free to post your questions in the chat. We will make sure we answer them. And I would like to introduce my colleague, Jose de la Rosa, who is based in Bologna. And I will ask him to tell us what is his connection or how did this happen to join Future Food a few years ago. And how was the first kombucha batch brewing in Scuderia?
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much again, Julia. Well, how did this all started? It was 3 years ago, and basically I came here to do my internship, master's degree internship. I'm a biologist, but I study gastronomic sciences, gastronomic science in the north of Spain at the Basque Culinary Centre. And at the end of this master degree, I had to do an internship. So I applied to different places, but Future Food was always in the top of the list. And well, it happened. I contacted Sara Roversi, and it happened. I came here, and curiously, I was the only student from my program, from my edition. That was the first one that had no final project degree. I had to come here, see the ecosystem, what's going on, and then make a proposal. And that was what happened. I came here, and by that moment we were opening Scuderia, the living lab where I'm now. And I started to gossip a little bit. I came underground. Actually, I'm right now in the underground of Scuderia, what is actually the lab. And when I came here, well, this is like a cave. I wish I could show you. This is like a cave, and with light, I call it light in stone. It reminds to a cellar wine or a wine cellar or a cider cellar, for example. So that was perfect for fermentation, and that's why I saw the opportunity to build here what it's right now here. And about the kombucha, well, I already knew from the university. It was something that I was linked. And once I came here, first thing that I proposed to Sarah, I said, let's buy one SCOBY and let's start to do it. The first one I remember that was black tea, and other one was coffee waste, coffee ground from the bars, from the cafeteria. And well, they were quite delicious. The people were accepting it. And for me, it was quite surprising because being something that 3 years ago was not yet in the market. And well, Italians are quite traditional, but actually the feedback was quite positive. So yes, this is more or less how everything started.
Yeah, I remember when we were in 2018, we visited Scuderia on a regular basis for the Food is a Conversation sessions. And every time we had kombucha or cocktails from your kombucha, I remember very well. And also that I had the chance to work with you. Well, it was a very short project, but to prepare the vinegars for the Russian aperitivo to accompany the pelmenis we were making. So can you please tell me a bit about your studies from the Basque Culinary Centre? And also, I know that you are returning time to time and holding some presentations for the current students. I heard these presentations are legendary and some people are falling in love with you. So let's talk about the Basque Culinary Centre and how are then new students arriving to the Living Lab nowadays?
All right, so this is I like this question. It's really emotional for me. Well, as I said, I did the first edition of that master. I was living in England by that time and working in kitchens. So I realized that I had to make a change. I had to find a connection between biology, what I study, and the kitchen. And the master was the answer. My brother was looking for a career, a degree to start university, and he found the master. He told me, I just jumped in directly. I was accepted, so that's the whole history. I fell in love with that master. How I came back to and became a mentor in that master, and how I'm bringing people. Well, that's thanks to Juan Carlos, that is the coordinator of the master, and I have been also quite passionate since the beginning. And after struggling to find the internship, to come here, to find the right project, actually it became with a good result. So Juan Carlos say, okay, your path has been tough, but I think that is a good example to transmit to the next generations of the master. So at the beginning, I was in the subject, and I still in the subject of project management within the program of the master. I would be more into the physicochemist of food or fermentation, but no, he put me in the project management because at the end was the value that I could bring from my experience as a prototype. Let's say that I was a prototype that just came out from the master oven, and so was perfect to transmit this experience to the new students that were coming. So actually, I was not super comfortable with that because, again, I'm biologist, I'm gastronomic scientist, I'm more into the food side 100%. But I say, okay, let's take the challenge. Let's go for the project management, and I'm going to give my value into that also. How I did it? I decided not to teach, not to transfer my knowledge in project management in the gastronomy, what I'm doing here in the lab together with my team, but to transmit how to manage the emotions. So basically, the presentation that I do, it's called a management of emotions. And what I do is make a timeline path, okay, and make it like a trip since I was in England till I arrived to the Future Food Institute, transmitting where I found the black holes that made me feel worse and the positive things that made me feel good. You say, wow, this is quite philosophical. Yes, but for me, it's super important to put the emotional things into the job. We are not machines. We are not just the excellence from Harvard. We are also people that work with people, and you need to smile. So I say, this is perfect. This is also project management. It's management of emotions, and it's, in my opinion, the 40% of a real project. Communicating with your colleagues and taking the project to a next level. So that's basically what I did. And at the end, when I finished this presentation, that I tried not to make it really egocentric, because it's not an egocentric speech. It's an example of something that you as a student could do after finishing the master. You can take it, you can leave it, you can improve it. So that's the goal. And then after that, I make an activity with them. I present the ecosystem of the Future Food Institute and how do we get relationships with entities in general. This whole, you know the the diagram, huge. So I present this to the students, and then I divide them in groups. Each group is an entity. One is an university. One, for example, is a startup that is doing 3D printers for food. One is for example, a kitchen. One other is a school. So I divide them in entities, and I say, okay, I'm the government. I got a grant. Okay, I got 5 million euros to share with the best cooperation, the best project. You can apply this grant by making a proposal. So just you, as one university, come to me and making a proposal, or you can deal with the rest of the entities, arrive to a nice deal, and then come to a proposal that is in common. So it's somehow the real life. You can do things by yourself and your team. Sometimes you need the support from someone else. And these relationships was exactly what I wanted to transmit about that emotional management of emotion. It was great. I invented that activity while I was in the plane. While I was in the plane, because I was a little bit nervous. I was a student, then I was going to be in the opposite position, and it worked. I thought that was going to be a chaos, but it worked. They were super, super excited and discussing between them, making proposals, like if the 5 million euros were real, So yeah, this is more or less why. And then, of course, they start to ask, I have to do the internship, can I go with you? I have been always super honest with them, saying that this is not a microbiological lab, this is not a scientist lab, this is all together. And we have needs, and we have things that nobody else has, but we are missing things that everybody has. And that's the key point. The needs create push the creativity. And some of them buy it, and some of them didn't. So that's why every year I keep bringing Spanish people here in the lab.
Exactly. There's always Spanish chatter down there. So besides that, I don't speak Italian, and I arrived to the lab and I still don't understand the word. No, just kidding. But yes, so you can see that Jose became the rock star of the Basque Culinary Centre, bringing all the new people to the institute. But yeah, you touched a lot of interesting points. In terms of how relations, collaboration has to be handled, and how it opens doors for then multiple entities, not only one, and that's very important in our operations. So now that we mentioned the lab, could you please describe, I know you are involved in so many different projects, and there are days which are a bit more hectic and less hectic, but if you would need to explain one day in the Food Alchemist Lab, how would that be?
Okay, you have to choose one day, because every day is different. I mean, you have to choose how has been yesterday, how is going today, how is going to be tomorrow, because every day is different.
I would like to hear yesterday then.
Okay, let's choose yesterday. So yesterday was a computer day for me, for the team was a maintenance day. They were cleaning the misos and shojus and the koji preparations that we have here. We use the mold aspergillus that is used for sake, miso, soy to transform local products. So instead of making soy sauce, we make, for example, bean sauce from the local product, or spirulina sauce, or for example, beetroot sauce. So soy sauce, but with other products. And we need to clean them because the mold starts to grow again on top. So to take advantage of all its power. Then I was recording yesterday myself here where I'm right now with this background. I was recording some video pills that we need to do for the different embassies that are linked Italian embassies around the world that are linked to the Mediterranean diet. So I was creating video recipes to that, and then I went home, good connection, and started to do the videos, build the videos, because we are also video makers. Again, here in the Food Alchemist Lab, it's not just about food, it's about engineering, logistics, informatics, and everything around. So that was yesterday. Every day is different. Now my team is upstairs in the kitchen. They are preparing turkey. Today is Thanksgiving. And we started to promote it 1 week ago. We are preparing field stuffed turkey with smashed potato puree, and then some also sweet potato chips, so the opposite somehow. And well, we never stop. We are doing service. We are doing consultancy to the big companies. We are all the time doing new things in the lab and doing the maintenance. It's a crazy job, but it's super cool because you never get it.
Exactly. And sometimes you are in Polica for 2 weeks and making delicious meals for the bootcamp participants and showing them all the tricks and tips what you have from the lab. Yeah, it's definitely not a boring activity, and every day is different because also, I mean, you are living with living cultures, right? So, or working with living cultures. So that means no one day can be the same, right? Because not everything will turn out as you expected, plus you experiment a lot. So this brings me to some of these experiments what you have done with the team. So what are the products or trials or anything what you have done what you are most proud of? You can name more. You are not limited to only one.
Can you repeat the last sentence that you say? The
product or any experiment you have done with the team?
Well, one randomly. There is 1,000. I mean, I would like to show the whole lab to everyone.
Which one you think was the most, you considered it as one of your biggest success, or what you are very proud of and you are showcasing on some of the master classes for the bootcamp as well?
I got one. Maybe it's not the most important. It's not the one that I'm most proud. Somehow, yes. But it's the one that I'm pushing a lot nowadays because it's great. It's the pomegranate skin. Pomegranate, the fruit, the skin, as you know, is super hard, astringent, bitter, rough. It's hard. It's a hard product to conceive as edible, no? The seeds are delicious, but the skin, no. So we came out somehow to make it edible. We roast them in the oven. Then we leave it in vodka. Vodka because it has no odor and no color. Could be other kind of alcohol. We leave it in vodka for 1 week, 2 weeks, depends on the room temperature. And they get super tender. They get digested by the alcohol and they get super tender. Then the alcohol, the vodka, turns super dark, super red, and we use it to make spirits, non-spirits. So basically, this vodka has all the astringency, all the bitterness, and the color that somehow Aperol or Campari has. And so we replace the Campari or the Aperol with this vodka. And then instead of using Prosecco, we use our super fizzy kombucha herbs kombucha. So we are making an spirits, non-spirits, but actually it reminds you to that. Then the skins, once they are tender, we clean them with water. So we rid all the alcohol. If not, it's disgusting, the flavor. And then we wanted to throw it away. But before throwing it away, we say, okay, let's taste. We taste everything. We taste everything. If we're still alive, it's because we do things in the right way. That's for sure, because we taste everything. And I put it in my mouth. Of course, it was disgusting, alcoholic, disgusting. But the texture was awesome. Was super tender. Was remind somehow to ostrich mushrooms, pleurotus. Perfectly. Also, the stomach or the intestines of the animals, because of the little holes of the seeds. So,
yeah.
Tripa.
Yeah.
Exactly, tripa. And the texture is great in that way. So we say, okay, let's clean it because it's disgusting the flavor, but the texture is awesome. Let's clean it. And once it's clean, there is no flavor. We got fibers and some remaining vitamins, and that's all. The structure of the pomegranate. Okay, what are we missing? Flavor. Let's add the flavor. We are doing this soy sauce also with, instead of soybeans, we are using, for example, fungi, no? Champignon. So this sauce, we use it to marinate that skin. Adding also a little bit of coffee to have some roastiness, no? Some toasty flavor. Adding also, in this case, why not a little bit of earth to give that earthy flavor, no? air that we can boil and sterilize, and then add to give that earthy flavor. So in this way, at the end, we get a product that is edible, that is full of fibers, and is not in the bin anymore. So that's somehow something that for me is super cool, because was hard and at the same time was not in purpose. Things come by researching and by being curious. So that's my example.
This is fascinating. So basically, if I add all the flavors, what you added at the end, you create a kind of a mushroom experience in the mouth, right? Because the texture is the same. You add the mushroom flavor, the earth flavor, so the umami. So then basically you create this mushroom kind of product, or yeah, exactly, which is like
we have been doing that. We have been doing that for a while, but you know, I'm more creative when I wake up in the morning and I listen to music, or when I come back home and then I start to see the TV that actually I'm not seeing the TV, or I'm not seeing Netflix. I put it just to think. I don't know. At the end, I miss everything that is happening, and I start to think, and it's when all the creativity comes. And I was thinking about the skin. Okay, we are doing this. It's okay. It looks like a mushroom. It's tasting, and the texture is quite similar. But the holes inside, the little holes for the seeds, actually was reminding me a lot to an intestine, to the tripa, no, to the stomach. And I say, no, we have to do it. Actually, because we avoid the step of marination, no, adding these fungi flavors. Like that, the skin when it's clean. We do tripa in Italy, we do tripa in Spain. So I took the recipe from the callos a la madrileña, the recipe from Madrid, and I just put it without marinade. Like, it's the tripa, it's the intestine, and it works really good. The gooey texture together with all the sofrito and broth and paprika, awesome. So yeah, not just fungi, actually it's all about imagination.
Nice. I really would like to try this when I come back. I bring the Hungarian recipe for tripa, okay? And then we do that with smoked paprika. Yes. Okay. So I have one question, because when you explain me all these processes and how you can turn something into something else, I always wonder, what is the effort and all the resources what goes into this new product? So because now we had the original product was the pomegranate, right? We use the seeds. So when I go to the supermarket, let's say I pay €1 for this. From that, approximately 30% are the seeds. So actually majority of that €1 we would throw away because we don't know what to do with it. So we talk about, let's say, 70%. So now afterwards, you then spend how much time? And so I just want to understand the value of the work, which is going back into that new product, what you basically created. And I understand that we have two streams because you created the beverage, you also created an ingredient, but how is the economics behind these processes?
This is a super good question, because not everything is a rainbow and it's super beautiful. That is true. At the end, we need to think and we need to ask ourselves, it is better to throw away the skin, or it is better to do this process? This is the challenge about food waste. Food waste is waste because we don't know how to transform it. Once we know how to transform it, it's not waste anymore, but we have also the economy behind, as you just said. And sometimes it's okay, we got the waste, we got the knowledge, still being waste because we don't have the money to make it. It is clear that you need to peel the pomegranate, then take the seeds to eat them, to make a juice and then make a pomegranate wine, for example, or to make a pomegranate vinegar, or to make a pomegranate powder. That's clear. But then the seeds is okay, it's in the comfort zone. But the skin, yes, you have to put it in alcohol, have to buy the alcohol, you have to wait, you have to clean it, you have to marinate, make the marination brine, because if not, you don't have the flavor. Of course, it's difficult, but I want to think that many other things in the history of food, in the food value chain and in the industry, has passed through the same process. When someone decides to standardize somehow, to scale, I don't like to say standardize, to scale the production of wine, that is also with yeast under control, something had to happen, no? We invent huge tanks, we invent thermal belts, to put around the tank so we can control the temperature. Wow, super huge, super big, super technical. We did it. So there is no excuse for me to say that this is really difficult to stop making it. Yeah, we will find the solutions. I'm putting solutions now into the brains of everyone. Let's see if we can take it or not. I'm going to continue making more variations. Maybe just one person that is from my same background or not want to make a startup and start to do this and make like aubergine, you know, under oil, but with the skins already marinated. And it's easy. You just make that production. You specialize your production into that. So yes, it's a good question.
Exactly. So that's what I wanted to kind of relate back to the collaborative part, what you said before. So this is what we need now. There are new techniques, but are being just experimented and found out now in order to repurpose food waste. And maybe currently the processes are time consuming and resource consuming, but why not then use that same mindset, what we had before, to industrialize and now turn it into in something else. So make that production line of these products and try to make it more scalable, because then obviously the economics will be in balance as well. So yeah, that's the future. So now we reached the final question of my of the interview, of this conversation, what I always ask from everyone. So if you did not have any barriers or obstacles, how would your preferred food future look like?
I think it would look like 50 years ago. Actually, before the Industrial Revolution, but not losing the flavor of today. How to explain? For me, the food of the future has to be the one from the past. When I say this, I'm not expecting to have same texture, color, odor, shape from the past. When I speak about food, I speak about the methodology of producing, transforming, and then distributing. What is that? What is the raw material? If it's going to be tomatoes or not, I don't know. And actually, I don't care, because we are going to grow locally what is going to grow. That's simple. If the tomatoes are not going to grow here, we are not going to have tomatoes. And we shouldn't have it. And we shouldn't take it from Latin America. We just don't have it. So for me, it's the past, because the past was saying, okay, this is what I got, this is what I eat, finish. There is nothing else. So in the future, I imagine that avocados are not going to make thousands of kilometers. We are going to understand how to grow avocado in our garden. If you really wish that much, those avocados are delicious, but you are not eating avocados, you are eating alive. The real avocados are there. The good quality ones are there. Now they are growing it in Sicily. Let's take them from Sicily. 8 euros per kilogram. Of course, expensive. Of course, it's difficult to grow them. And more if it's not in their local, no, in their environment. So that's the point. We are buying labels. We are not buying food nowadays. And in the future, I imagine that we are going to buy food. That's the only thing that I see for the future. Exactly what is to say a dish, I wouldn't say that, because we are going to be adapted to the nature that is around us. And the only thing that I hope is that the demand, us, the people, the consumers, are going to change their mindset, so the industry, the offer, can also change, can also have an open space, a freedom to change all that engineering, logistic, and all the technology, to change it to continue scaling, but not standardizing, because the nature is not standardized. It's not a copy-paste. So I just hope that is the only thing that I can see, that the nature is going to start to scale, the industry is going to start to scale the nature, but not to make copy-paste. I don't know if I answered.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And I am really looking forward to that time when we will buy food, and everyone will buy food instead of labels. Thank you so much, Jose, for being here today. For those who joined a bit later, the conversation will be posted on IGTV immediately after this. And so please listen, because we had a lot of really interesting points discussed today. And stay tuned, because the next conversation is next Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Central European Time. And I will have someone dialing in from Brazil. So, Jose, thank you so much. Enjoy Thanksgiving. I'm very curious to see this year's turkey. I heard very interesting things about last year. All right, take care.
Thank you so much, Julia. Take care. You also. See you
Bye.
very soon.
Bye.